Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakal Kadash, giving double honor to the Apostle Edda's great millstone, peace and blessings to those Christian with truth and sincerity, and Abad Babul. It's the brother in the Apostle Kodash. I am coming at you again with another lesson. All right. And one of my favorite things to read or go over is Matthew's 24th chapter. So I'll be hitting probably around the first 20 verses, somewhere around there. Just to give you a good understanding, or because it's pretty simple, but if you don't have no context to what you're reading, you might not be able, you still might be able to understand it, but you might not be able to understand it. But just to give you a quick overview, what I'm getting ready to go into is the disciples asking Yahushua about when his second coming gonna be. Right, because he already if I'm not mistaken, he already had told them it's gonna be a time when he go away. All right, and we all know after his second coming is the kingdom of heaven. Literally, like if you see Yahushua right behind him, is the beginning of the kingdom of heaven. Literally, like it's literally just that simple. But it starts with him. We joint heirs, right? But yeah, in this passage, it's really just the disciples talking with Yahushua. And he's giving them the parables of when his second coming is going to be. He basically giving the signs, because you got the scripture that say, no man knoweth the day, the year, I think it say hour too. And a lot of people will run with that and be like, well, if we don't know when he's coming, and then they'll get to going off, well, I'm gonna live like this, and he gonna come back my kids' lifetime. But that's what our grandparents were saying too. So, But if you look at the sign of the times, which I'm about to get into, you would know it's that time. All right. This is Matthew 24:1. And Yahushua went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples came to him for to shew him the building of the temple. And Yahushua said unto them, see ye not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down. Now he's talking about the temple. Now he prophesying, because he's saying in the future, this temple not even going to be here. As we know, the first temple got ransacked and taken down. The second temple got ransacked and taken down. Here in modern time, that already happened. But in his time period, that didn't happen yet. The second temple wasn't ran down yet, or thrown down. And it say, verse 3, and as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us, what shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and the end of the world? Now, when you go into this word, see, I'm going to go to the blue letter and read from there. Because I'm going to go into that word, world. And I'm probably going to edit this video and just put a covering over it. If not, you'll see me reading along. Either or, it just make a difference, really. But, right. And we're going to go into that word, world. All right. It is
Strong's G 165. Strong's G 165. Ion.
It say the end. So mind you, as to when the end of the world be. It say definition 1: forever, an unbroken age, perpetuity of time of eternity. So that's saying forever. But we know that the world not going to be destroyed forever, or at all, technically. Definition number two, it say the worlds, the universe. But we know that the course of the scriptures, the world itself is never going to be destroyed. It's not going to, ain't no asteroid going to come through and wipe us out. Ain't no sun solar flare going to burn the earth up into a crisp. Missiles are, but the sun not going to permanently damage the earth to where we can't grow food here, nothing like that. Now, the third definition, so it's called process of elimination. It's a period of time or age. So the end of the world would have to be the end of a period of time. What period of time? The time of Esau's Edom rulership. The fourth part, roughly paraphrasing Revelations or referring to Revelations. The fourth part. And even you can even go into, I think it's 2nd Ezra 14 or 4, where these parts are different from what I just quoted in Revelations. But you got the 12 parts, which was like the 10th part was when Yahushua was on the ground, and the 10th and a half, the half of a 10th, which is 950, right? That was when Ezra was on the scene because he was writing it then. Then you get to that 12th part. That 12th part, 2,000 years after Yahushua, because each one of those parts is a year in second Ezra the 14th chapter. Each one of them parts is 1,000 years. So that 12th part would be year 12,000. If of course we're going off of biblical time from the beginning to the end, because the world's only 12,000 years old, roughly, a little bit over actually. And what I'm going into is showing you these periods of times. All right, because it's in 2nd Ezra 14. We're talking about the 12th part. The 10th part is when Yahushua was here. The year is 2023. And that's based off of when Yahushua was here. That would show you if he was here in the 10th part, we're in the 12th part because it's been 2,000 years. And in the 12th part, it was prophesied for the world to what? End. But is it going to end like a asteroid? No, it's going to end as in the end of a time period. Because within those 12 parts, you had different parts with different kings was ruling. Come on, we know the statue. You got Babylon the Great, the Greeks, the Romans. You know, you got 7 different nations. The Medes, Babylon. Or I wasn't going to say Babylon, but NATO and the EU at the bottom, the clay and all that. Right? You got the 7 different, I didn't say them in order, I was just saying them just randomly. But, yeah, those different time periods mean something. But I'm going to hop back on this, Matthew 24 and 3. It's saying, he sat upon the Mount of Olives. The disciples came unto him privately, so privately, unknown to everybody else, saying, tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall the sign of thy coming and the end of the world? See, now, think about this question. As they was asking, what they asking is, when was his second coming and when was the temple going to be destroyed? But those 2 different time periods. Yahushua still hasn't came back yet. He's soon to come back. Soon to. But the temple has already been destroyed. So we got the answer to one of those questions. All right. Verse 4. Then Yahushua answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am a Mashiach, and shall deceive many. Now, what's an example of that? Buddha, Christianity, Jeebus. Yeah, that's the biggest one right there. Niggas really think Yahushua was a blonde-haired, blue-eyed Edomite. Come on, bro. He's from the land of Israel. He's a Judite. He's dark-skinned, curly hair, referring to Daniel, the 7th chapter. I think it's like verse 9. Right? So don't be deceived by these false prophets. Niggas talking about the great and honorable Muhammad. Man, I'm going to watch my language, but I give double honors to the apostles and elders of great millstone, and all praises to Yahweh Bahasham Yahushua. Verse 6, Matthew 24 and verse 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. See, we gonna hear about these wars and rumors of wars. You're gonna hear about the rumors of, yeah, this country and that country, they kind of at odds. They front line soldiers looking eye to eye right now. You're gonna hear about the wars that's going on. You know, World War III is right around the corner. That's a biblical prophecy. We go down to the valley of Jehoshaphat, where we're gonna gather them all together. All right, when you go into Revelations, where the bear, you know what I'm saying, gonna fight the whore and all that. You know, that's talking about Russia fighting Babylon the Great, which is America in modern day name. You know, those are those wars that's in the scriptures. But even in this, like, even just using regular news, you hear about BRICS nation versus NATO coming up. You hear about the Arabians starting to click up with each other. Right? We hearing these things. We're literally hearing them. Whether these two nations at war or not, there go the rumors of wars. Verse 7. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. For a nation shall rise against nation. What's going on right now? It's a struggle for power in the world right now. You know, Moab think he about to come up with his technology, hit a nigga with a couple EMPs. America thinking they about to keep on ruling. They pull them Black Hawks out and them tanks and they so-called strong soldiers. Russia think it's their time to get back on top, because they got everybody starting to back them up. They got their team starting to build up. The anti-NATO. You even got India thinking, well, we got the most soldiers. We got 1 billion soldiers. Yeah. So them nations and kingdoms, they definitely rising against each other. It's there. It say, and there shall be famines. Come on, bro. What type? We're going to have famines of the word and famines of the bread. And they right around the corner. I mean, we've seen famine of the bread during the pandemic, when you'd go to the grocery store and you would be looking for something and it wouldn't be there. Like, you'd go back and it still wouldn't be there. You'd go back again and it still wouldn't be there. Like, it just wouldn't get there. And when it did get there, it would get sold out quick. Like, you would go to the store, try to get some eggs, it wouldn't be no eggs there. Try to get some bread, it wouldn't be no bread there. And these things hit other countries differently, because goddamn Brazil, I think it's Venezuela. Them niggas had the famine of the bread. They've been in that already. They already there. It's saying pestilences. Come on, man. We just had the whole world shut down. It went from a epidemic to a pandemic. Epidemic, I think, it's just with a certain country, but a pandemic was when the whole world is affected by it. That ain't a pestilence. I don't know what is. Then you got these fucking diseases popping up every day. You got cancer killing motherfuckers by the 10,000s. I mean, technically by the millions, but I'm just saying, in short bursts of time period, it be niggas dropping by 10,000s all around the world. If that ain't a pestilence, then what is? And we can even get into the word pestilence, because, you know, you'll have a nigga hear it and just run with it, won't even look it up. This is a pestilence. It says a pestilent fellow, pest, plague. It says of unclean infirmity, a plague, literally the disease, or figuratively a pest. So that's what, when you hear the word pestilence, you think of a disease or you think of pest. What's a pestilence? A plague of locusts. What's a pestilence? A fucking disease breaking out, a virus breaking out and plunging the world into darkness. Those are pestilences. Figuratively and literally. It say, and earthquakes in diverse places. Come on, man. Cleveland got hit with an earthquake a couple years ago. We don't have earthquakes here. and we got hit with one. That says a lot. Doesn't it make sense for us to get hit with an earthquake because of the landmass under us is a solid plate. It's not cracked. But yet we still got one. That's a diverse place. And then you look around, you having thousands of earthquakes daily. You can look that up. I'm not making that number up. It was not always like that. Verse 8. All these are the beginning of sorrows. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of nations for my name's sake. Now that literally happened to the disciples. You got to remember, this Yahushua talking to the disciples roughly 2,000 years ago with a little bit on the top. You know what I'm saying? This literally, but you got to remember, Yahushua was so cold at being a prophet. He was the best prophet ever, literally the best man ever. That he is talking about, some of these verses talking about 70 AD, right? When you get into like certain ones, like with the temple being thrown down and all that. But then you have some that's, well, a lot of them talking about modern day in our time period right now, because it's happening now, obviously. If you have eyes to see and ears to hear, you can see and hear these things like literally in front of you. Come on, man. I forget what verse it is, but talk about how the bloods of the prophet have been shed since Abel, from the beginning. So what makes you think that's gonna change now? He telling you, these are the things that's gonna come. This how we know we at the end of this thing, because these things is coming, if not already here. Some of these things is literally already here. This is Revelation 24:10. And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. Well, scriptures say, for because iniquity is abound, the love of many shall wax cold. And if this is the most wicked time ever, iniquity is sin upon sin. You know, sin stacked on sin. Wickedness, sin stacked on sin. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. So he literally telling you. Oh, that's literally next couple verses, actually. I didn't even see that. But it say, you know, because basically all this wickedness in the world, hey, that's why everybody gonna hate one another in that time period. We talking about people that's not under the protection of the Lord. Verse 11, and many false prophets shall rise and shall deceive many. Come on, man, you got a church on every corner trying to tell you, just put some money in the tithes and you'll be all right. You'll make it to the kingdom of heaven like that. But the scriptures talk about not being able to buy your way into salvation, not being able to buy faith. You know, you can't buy faith. That's what you need to get into the kingdom of heaven, faith. Can't buy it, so you can't buy your way into the kingdom of heaven. This is one thing we know for sure. If I don't know nothing else, I know a nigga can't buy his way into the kingdom. Because if that's the case, every rich man would make it into the kingdom. You'll have people saving up all their life just to get in, but that wouldn't be, it wouldn't really do anything. It wouldn't make sense, because you can get riches through wickedness. You can get rich as hell off wickedness. So, you know, obviously the Lord is perfect in all his ways. We'll say that. Because you niggas wouldn't have no problem with that way, buying your way into heaven. Niggas sell bricks of cocaine and as many drugs as he can and try to enter into the kingdom of heaven. Can't buy your way into the kingdom, bro. Verse, well, that's just the false prophets right there, part where, like I said, you got churches on every corner, but you got the Muslim shit. You got a lot of, I remember when I was younger in this truth, still a young man in this truth, that I would look, and I remember older brother brought it out. It was 4,000 religions, maybe like 4 years ago. Now it's like 10,000. It's fucking 4-year difference. They made 6,000 new religions. Who's believing in this? This is false prophets. And that was worldwide, so a lot of that's with the heathens. But even with Jake, you always see Jake in some new belief or some new religion. Like, bro, y'all niggas wasn't no fucking Muslims like 100 years ago. Like that wasn't a thing. You niggas ain't believe in so-called Jesus Christ. I say so-called because that name is just blah. But you niggas ain't believe in Jesus Christ when we hopped off them slave ships. When we first landed here, that's not the name y'all was calling on. Y'all was calling on Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. Verse 12, and because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. I already broke that down. But because sin upon sin, because what is love? Love is keeping the statutes, commandments. It's keeping the commandments. Because the law is the book of the Bible is the ultimate manual of life. But the law literally tells you yes, no. Like some like you'll read Paul's letters and epistles, and he'll say certain things like just speaking as a man, where it's like it's situational basically. But the law is yay or nay. It ain't no, it's yes or no. It's either sin or it's not. And these people breaking the law. So that brings me to my point of iniquity and waxing cold. And verse 13, but he that shall endure unto the end shall be saved. So you got to endure. We have to endure. Speaking to myself first and foremost, we have to endure all of this, from the diverse earthquakes to the false prophets. All of that will be saved. Verse 14, and this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. So when Jacob's trouble pop off, this truth gonna be, it's everywhere right now, but the elect, the multitude elect, they gotta get edified. They gotta get some understanding, which everybody's different. You might have some people come in the last minute and just know the Lord's name. You might have some people come in years earlier and be breaking down Daniel, and they just multitudes. It's just situational. It's between you and the Most High. But once that word get out there fully all around the world, it's over with. This place gonna fall. All right, and I hope this was edifying. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Kokedash, giving double honor to the Apostle Elder's Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to Brother pushing this truth and sincerity and abide the bull.